Doggo's going to go back towards the Lucian. Are we going to separate away from the Meteor this time? This is what I was wondering about, because Meteor's very good with Felios, which is one of the things which I was wondering in the first draft. So, you're probably going towards the Nami now, the Jwei. That was the obvious lock-in. You kind of have to lock that in on 2-3, because that's the really support you need. Now the question is, what are you going to do now the Maokai's been taken away? You've now reversed a bit of the composition that we've seen in Game 1. Maokai is very good at being a frontline and a team fighting game.
And that, for me, is a symptom of a definite change in the LG drafting strategy. It was really cool to try the brand, right? It's something different, it's something fun, but it's also something that you can actually win a game 1 of a series with it, because usually not much preparation goes into facing off against the brand. So I can appreciate now honing back in, going to more meta choices here and seeing what they can grab themselves in the final part of the first phase, as we do see the Corki as that piece for Ultra Prime.
Right, so maybe they were worried about the Maokai setting up shop with the team fighting gauge and then also locking that inside the Corki. Phyllis is what I assume will be the lock-in. It's the best remaining AD carry with the Filio, and it's also very good at kind of following up on some of the engage. Even though Phyllis is not a mobile champion himself, especially with Gale Force being the game, his ultimate flying forward in the team fight when someone's been locked up by the Maokai is very strong on the offensive side of things. And when people dive onto you, you have the Milio to keep you safe as well. So he becomes a champion, weirdly, without mobility, that can play quite aggressively in dives through the range of his ultimate, but also play well defensively too.
Words are like knives, Nymaera. I just want you to know that when you said the Gale Force is gone, I felt that. Alright? I felt that. It hurt. It hurt.
As someone who plays a lot of assassins who didn't particularly like AD carries having like double dashes with Flash Gale Force.
Well, as an AD carry, I don't like assassins either, because you just come and kill me. Like, that's not fair. I should get to play the game.
Storm Surge? How's Storm Surge?
It's not great. It's not great, I'll tell you that. But I miss Gale Force. Write me, please. Call me. We do have Jay still locked away now by Ultra Prime in the second phase. The Jax also joining that ban table by LGD. So some solo lane focuses for sure in the second phase, as the Vi actually is going to be that change-up of bans in LGD.
Because Ultra Prime don't have the best engage options this time. Of course, LGD were the ones who really struggled to get on top of their opponent in the last game. So removing something like that, Vi is one of the best like point-and-click engage champions you can get from the jungle role. No, it's not AoE CC, but it's enough to lock someone down so the Corki absolutely cannot miss his rockets. That is a dangerous prospect. So, Poppy banned away from Burdol, which is that Decade maybe is eyeing up the Cassante again. What are you doing here now? You can counter-pick mid lane and then pick your top lane last, but do you think the Cassante is too valuable to give over? I guess so.
Yeah, looks like it. And I think, I feel like we've seen some reasoning behind that as well. There are still a lot of options on the table to go into it, though. This would be an interesting one.
I like this.
Provide a lot of safety and that length of engage for you.
Exactly. It's the engage which I'm particularly concerned about. Now, Cassante can go immovable rather, or unstoppable, in front of the Maokai ultimate, but he can't do that against an Ornol. Decade is looking now to go towards more of the... So you have a bit of lane pressure with the Cassante. You're not going to counter him. What you're looking now is for Decade to get a flank, get around the Maokai ult, and then get onto a carry. I just feel like the Orn would have been a bit more dedicated and engaged than Ultra Prime currently lacking. I'm a bit worried, because I think that Felios Milio is going to stand there, look at the Aatrox from a mile away, and just gun him down before he pushes him.
The Trundle is the difference maker here, they say, for Ultra Prime. A very nice pick into tankier members, and the Cassante and Maokai can just be that. So a little bit of an interesting comp for Ultra Prime this time around. Not as much as that meta staple I feel like that we got in that game number 1. Speaking of meta staple though, this has been left open would be so huge for LGD.
This is the pick. Because if you're walking forward as Trundle or Aatrox, you cannot ever realistically dodge that. It's going to be the Akali. I don't know, man. There are some weird decisions in the last half of this draft. I get that the Akali is good into the Corki. So is Orianna, though, and I feel like Orianna does more against the rest of the team composition. You're a little bit more vulnerable to the Lucian Namis, the Orianna, don't get me wrong, but I felt like locking in the Orianna there would make the game unplayable to Decade and Hacker, especially when they can just never reach the carries through Milio. So I think that's maybe a bit of a fumble in the last half of the draft from Ultra Prime, but on the same regard, I feel like maybe the locking in that Akali have... they have themselves the side lane pressure. So you're losing a little bit more out of the team fight. Maybe you're giving yourself a bit more options in different areas.
Do you see Ultra Prime being any more aggressive with the Trundle Jungle here instead of that kind of farming, wait out, reactive style gameplay?
To an extent, yes. I think that you can get some really good early dueling, especially when you go press the attack, the auto Q, auto reset. So a lot of good damage early. I think what it also does is allow you to just pin down the first target at the start of the team fight very effectively. If Meteor or Burdol are out of position, you put the subjugation on them and you burn them down with the damage that you have. It means that maybe you don't have to look for the flank as aggressively. Still think it's dangerous. I still think that the carries from the side of Ultra Prime are going to do an awful lot of damage, but it gives you some ability to tank spread in the way that Ultra Prime struggled to last time.
Well, we're getting into it now. Last game, a game LGD would want back 10 times out of 10. They were in such a commanding position, unable to close it out. Ultra Prime picked it up and ran with it, and they'll see if their momentum can carry on into game number 2. And it's a year of come-ups for both these two teams. The organizations having rough ends to last year, but here we are in game number 2. Both organizations looking for their first win in the series, and Ultra Prime looking to close it out here.
Onto the Rift we go. LGD, of course, they typically have themselves a bit of a cult following, even though they haven't reached playoffs in quite some time. They were one of the really big fan bases back in the day. I think 2015, that was the year they kind of rose to prominence. It was the team that went to Worlds as first seed in that year. Of course, things went pretty badly at 2015 Worlds with the Juggernaut patch.
Fist bump.
So it goes with LGD is that every 5 years they come back to prominence. They had 2015 and 2020 were their 2 years. So we've got another year on the clock for that to stand true. I think they'd like to cut a year off that timing if possible.
I would say so. Why not here? Why not now? There was not a level 1, though. Unfortunately, it was very close. We did get the fist bump, though. I can't tell you how many times I've had people freak out and wonder what those are, and then you tell them, oh, it's fist bump, you just hate you.
It's a new item. It's a new ability.
Well, at first it goes, what is that? That's crazy. What is that? Wait, what button is it? Wait, it's you?
Yes. Okay, this is dangerous now.
Oh,
Kepler and
no.
JinJiao, they don't have vision hip. They didn't put a tri-brush. They are getting wrapped around on this 3.
The bubbles, it's not there, but the Pillar of Filth not going to actually find the angle. Did get the barrier out of Kepler at least, but that's flash from Hacker.
Now the question is, can they stop JinJiao and Kepler getting XP from this wave? I don't think they can, actually. So this is not the best level. Given how good of an angle they had from there,
yeah,
that wasn't actually the best level 1 they could have got. Kepler, I think, good discipline to not blow flash early, just blowing the barrier. That's completely fine.
This is good decision making from Hacker and Ultra Prime, though. A guy who we know is very aggressive, and for Ultra Prime specifically has been. But it's also about splitting the map here, Nymaera.
It is, and I don't think that Makai has the best ability to shut down someone like an Aatrox. Now, how much is he realistically going to lose? It's probably going to be the 1 buff, I suppose. I don't think that the Hacker's... he's 3... Oh, he took a bit of the walls. That's what he got. That's what I was for.
Oh, it disappeared
Remaining
right away for it.
Goodbye, my canine friends. Meteor, I'm going to take that lonely Gromp on the bot side of the map. And Hacker, well, you are wondering whether this Trundle would signify some more aggressive gameplay. The answer is yes.
Didn't stick around too long there. Did end up stealing away those 2 camps, but hasn't found that big moment breaker yet. I still expect some proactive play to come out of Hacker, but I feel like LGD are in just fine position. They'll actually try to save bot lane a little bit more here as they're already about to give up the plate to Doggo.
Good timing by Doggo there. It's one of the things you do when you're dashing under turret. Saw it last game from Kepler, so yep. About it briefly. If you attack a champion within turret range while the turret shot is just firing at the minion that it's just next targeting, you can dip quickly out of turret range and then it won't target you. You can also do that with stuff like LeBlanc and Yone, where you get the auto attack with the ability, you ping back before the turret retargets you. So it's a good way to kind of get a cheap trade under turret, which some people just aren't used to seeing.
Saw the scuttle tussle go down for Hacker over there on the bottom side. Is there should we have like an official word for that? Is there like WrestleMania, but it's for...
I don't know. Well, the problem is that you know that the scuttle
scuttlebuttle.
It actually. The thing is, the Scuttle has no rebuttal because it has no attacks. It can't do anything. The poor
But
dude
it's the
is
fight
just sat there.
around it. So if you have two people going there to fight, like you got to come up with the names like WrestleMania.
Well, I mean, if you're quickly taking both of them, then it's the Scuttle hustle, obviously. That one's easy.
But what about when
in terms of the
two
actual
guys show up, lock eyes, and there's a scuttle crab between them, and they both fight for it? What do you call it?
That's a good question. I
think
don't
it's
think
the
I have
scuttle buttle. I think that's just it.
Yeah, because the other ones aren't satisfying, right? You have like the Scuttle Rumble. It's just no, it's just not good.
The rhyming really makes the difference. I feel like.
Yeah. So well, look. We'll call it. We'll workshop it, all right? We'll call
I'm
it a
pointing
work
it
in
right now.
progress.
All you other casters out there,
Look,
you watch out. All right, scuttle buttle is mine.
We could just call it the deadliest cash.
True.
Because it's the danger of fighting over Scuttle.
That's a great.
Of course, that was what happened to.
For a while. Then it
turned out that there's actually.
It was a reality show.
There's actually only so much content you can get with that. So, important thing with Trundle when you're taking the Void Grubs, by the way, because the little things die around you so often, you get a lot of HP back from your passive, which means that you're very healthy at taking them. You don't do the AoE damage that you can, that some other champions, of course, like Brand or Lily, can do to the Grubs, but you take them very quickly with a single target damage. So right on spawn, Hacker getting some value for his team, played up aggressively, and after getting his MVP in game 1, very quick Scuttle, rather Grubs in game 2, he's bringing value to his team.
It's the worst. It's literally the worst. But I think, especially with the way the composition lies, getting that early and getting the timer on that already shows the good game plan coming out from Ultra Prime.
And I think particularly if Hacker gets enough stats, he can kind of walk up and maybe face tank the Maokai ult, put an ult onto Meteor or Burdol, and cause him a load of issues. However, speaking of that, putting an ult onto Meteor is not going to be as successful because he's gone for the Scorch Claw in terms of the jungle item, which is going to be a bit more the burny, damagey stuff, and he's gone for Sork Boots as well. So he's gone for the first strike. This is going to be a bit more pokey AP Maokai. And of course, when you're building up Liandry's nowadays, you don't build mana into it, which is completely fine for Maokai. You don't really need that from the jungle anyway. You don't get Demonic Embrace anymore. It's a bit sad, but still, it's going to be a bit more damage from Meteor.
It's really nice too because you don't give those extra tank stats over to Mr. Hacker there. You do just are a little bit squishier. Still, base has a decent amount of tankiness, but it's not going to be as much as if you were, say, full tank build. Now, we do have a dragon up as well on the other side. We saw the Grubbies go quickly over to Hacker. Hacker going to want to make presence known around this dragon pit too.
So, Hacker's still going to be just walking into an area on the map, and Meteor doesn't particularly feel good about walking back into there. Checking in on the CS in the lanes as well. Of course, Kepler and JinJiao, they had a bit of a trouble at level 1. They're not falling too far behind. Actually, this way they're about 5 or so down into the deficit. And some vision in the bot side as well. Very interested to see now if Doggo and Jwei can get off to a better power spike than they did last game. I actually think Doggo had a very difficult game on Lucian. I think that late game, yes, it was fine. They really struggled to use the mid-game spike. Now he has the support item early though. Once he gets Blood Song, very interested to see if Ultra Prime can have a stronger game on this duo lane.
And that's where I want to take stock of the changes around, right? We do have the swapping of the Akali here. Haichao picking this one up for game number 2, as well as the Corki going over to Yeekai. They were big difference makers last game, and I look to the continuation of that here.
Looking for a continuation, hopefully for the side of Ultra Prime at least, to get themselves that 2-0 and finish this one off easily. Feels like this one has been a bit of an easier early game. Of course, last game they fell really, really far behind. Part of that was, of course, Meteor having a good individual game on the brand early on, managing to get himself towards bot lane a number of times, and now we're looking towards, first dragon spawn. Trundle very good at taking early single target objectives due to single target damage, and he's going straight towards that with bot lane prior.
Easy does it. Early take over here with the prio that you were talking about, and a little bit of moving from Yeekai as well. That early dragon and the grubbies actually starting to add up a little bit here. We do have the next spawn of those grubs coming up in a minute. Again, you only need those 5 to get that double frog.
I think it's quite interesting how Trundle is going for a tanky build. It's not going to be something like, I don't know, what else would you go? You can go stuff like Tiamat first on Trundle, putting in Tiamat and going into something like Titanic Hydra. I think in this game, you need to be a frontline though, particularly with someone like Aatrox that is half a frontline. He does frontlining by doing enough damage to heal through it. He's a bit more of a drain tank. By going towards the Barmy Cinder first, it gives him a bit more ability to just have the base HP to stand and fight, and again, put the ultimate on an important target for the double marksman on his team to gun down.
Okay, so let's look at the map here now. We see a ton of pings coming up towards top side. It is Doggo and Jwei moving now. They want to play for these grubs.
Two, but realistically, I don't think LGD have a huge amount of tools to fight with this right now. You do have, you know, the Haunting guys on Meteor, but it's not a full item. When you're going AP Maokai, kind of need to get yourself to that first item. Maokai at least at level 6 with the tankier build, just with some HP built up and something like an Aftershock as well is a bit more valuable to his team. So for this point in the game, early game, wherever Hacker walks onto the map is pretty much a no-go zone. Decade has just teleported down here. It's a 3v1. He has ult, he has flash. This is
early Whirlwinder. He's going to try to heal up off the wave, trying to just take the wave out here. He does. Calibrum's not going to be enough. Meanwhile, topside, we also have that fight going down. Nobody's falling yet, but Decade definitely went a little too far off the turret.
That he does. He was trying to see if Meteor and JinJiao would not be there in time to stop his retreat off, especially with a flash. Meteor doesn't even have to blow the flash himself now, though. Dangerous now. Kepler has himself Crescendum to go through that bot lane turret.
All right,
Topside is now going to be the customer dive too. I don't think they can dive him, though.
I don't think they can either. Casante's built a little bit different, and I don't think Hacker
got
the memo. He does make it out alive, but my God, it's so close.
Yeah, folks, you need to be really careful of a Cassante on the turret. He's popped the Ghost. He has enough HP to even run it back at them. Haichao there to cover. So it's going to be a lot of plates down top side, but it's not like there aren't any plates taken on bot side either. Kepler will have been whacking away at that one, and no kill to be returned from Ultra Fire.
There's Kepler's chance to get a little bit back there as well, but I will say getting some good plates on Doggo is huge. I think we should be close to one item spikes here for both ADCs. Decade just taking so much of that damage there. We will see him go back topside as we take a look at that dive.
So this is popping the ult, just trying to see if he can clear out the wave in time. He does clear the wave, he just takes 1,000,000 damage doing so, and after that point, Meteor waits for his next basic round of cooldowns to come up, and he is dead. So sad fact for Decade, at least he doesn't lose that much CS. It's not the worst case scenario.
I think giving it over to Meteor, not too shabby. He really didn't want to give that one to Kepler, who was waiting with a Calibrum long shot there as well. We actually do have an item differential going down right now. Storm Razor for Doggo, no item completed for Kepler on his back.
So, a fun little coincidence about Kepler playing VFLs as well. So yes, very, very Targonian champion, all about the moon shot of the Calibrum. You know, Kepler was a famous astrophysicist. He was one of the people who helped discover out some of the movements. Yeah, there's a space telescope named after him. He helped understand some of the more intricate movements of the planets. So there you go. Bit of a moon space relationship there between the fellows and the men.
I like it. I like it. Now, does that help? Probably not.
Well, okay, so you know that in FLOS's development, they wanted to have FLOS's power well, it was tabled. I don't know how serious it was, but it was genuinely brought up. Hang on, can we make FLOS's power wax and wane with the actual moon cycle? They actually thought about that.
That'd be hilarious. I think it just adds that much dimension.
I think it'd be very confusing. Some people already find this champion confusing enough. Let's not make it any harder, huh?
Yeah, I'm down for that. I'm down for that. Doggo actually getting some good procs on the first strike so far with those in and out bobs. I do want to highlight those Storm Surge is completed for Haichao now.
That it is. So it's not going to be the Lich Bane that we saw from Yeekai first item. Yeah, Doggo getting some good damage down here, throwing that.
And another
he's
plate.
on a much better timing for a support item too. Remember last game it was 23 minutes until his support item was proc, so he can potentially reach his power spike earlier in this game and use it better.
And that's the Doggo that the Ultra Prime fans will know and love. A key carry potential for the team and has been for a little while now. But the question is making it work with the rest of the squad. We do see Kepler down there being pressed potentially by Hacker now as he makes his presence in the bot side complete. And Meteor on the other side bolting down here to make sure nothing else can happen.
Yeah, I think as soon as that last chunk came in laning phase and the removal of that heal as well, he has to be just a little bit on call. Even though he doesn't have camps down on bot side, he just realizes he needs to be around that for the dragon. As well, he does have his Leandries now though, so let's see how much value this AP Maokai can get. So don't underestimate the burst coming out of this champion. The extra AP scaling is of course very nice too.
Yeah, he should be able to just keep pressure on with those saplings too. I think that's the hardest thing to deal with. Yeekai has completed his first item and also completed his first package. grab at least. Gonna see where that's delivered though.
Well, it looks like the blue pings are onto Herald, and given that Ultra Prime would like to break open the map a little bit with their 6 grubs as well, something like the Herald can potentially open up the map a little bit more for them to have some real split bit pressure going into the game later. And Dragon hasn't been started up on the other side, so LGD, they're kind of spinning their wheels a little bit right now.
What kind of package would a Rift Herald get?
I don't know. Cinder blocks? Maybe in its free time it just likes breaking objects.
You just going with crazy. Why couldn't it be like some magazines or something? Like, could just
look,
be like
I'm
normal,
sorry. Do those
normal stuff?
Do
Like,
those claws look like
weird?
they? Do those claws look like they can turn a page?
Oh, you bet.
I don't think they're
could
very
see.
dainty.
You bet your bottom dollar I could see a Rift Herald chilling in a lazy boy with a magazine out. 100% I could. All right.
Yeah, so we've got an order of like claw manicure for
it's
Mrs.
in a
Shelley or
deep
Mrs.
purple?
Shelley. Mrs. Shelley's. Yeah. Deep, as in the rock band, deep purple.
No, as
Okay.
in the color that Shelly is.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Good catch. Good catch. Just trying to make sure. Doggo's got a good catch on
That's
Kepler.
perfect.
Ooh, beautiful pillar of filth. Is the tidal wave going to be enough? It's not. Running away from the tsunami was LGD.
Nice, so that is your power spike that you're looking for, and Doggo just gets the blood song after that as well. Much better power spike and much better early game from Doggo this time. The illusion of last game left a lot to be desired. This one now in the early game is actually a threat.
2K in the lead is Ultra Prime, just off a very neutral game so far. But that is what led to so much chaos last game, is a very calm and easy first like 30 minutes and then 15 minutes of just bangerino fights over and over again.
Another thing that did just pop up in the bottom of the screen, as Observers did highlight that as well, is the Profane Hydra being built up by Decade. It is Hydra but lethality, which means that you can go in and be a bit more bursty. It's less about drain tanking and being a bit more healthy, but gosh, you do a lot of damage. You start swinging that giant sword around and get the extra Hydra block on top of it.
Every time I look at new items and I see Aatrox wield them, I'm like, man, somebody really liked Aatrox. like all of
Like
the
the
items
Sunder,
work so beautifully with his kit. It's just like built in.
So fun thing with the not Divine Sunder ability, like Sunder the Sky. So it gives you a healing on the first auto attack against a champion. So kind of like Java passive, right? So it gives you more damage. But the healing also gets the benefit of his ultimate's increased healing too.
So
he
just
does
absolutely heal. Like
he goes
3,
from like
4.
0 to 100. That's just fun. That's okay gameplay, folks.
You do see an outside tower going down as okay gameplay comes through for Ultra Prime. The little mites just got destroyed by the shurikens. It feels really bad.
Maybe that's the... Wait, hang on. Maybe we got this wrong. Maybe the Herald and the Grubs, maybe they're not the ones getting the deliveries. Maybe that's what they're delivering. They're like the little, you know, like the little delivery riders on bicycles giving you like your takeaway, your groceries and stuff.
Oh. JinJiao almost falls. Doggo's doing so much damage now, and he hasn't even hit 2 items yet. You still also have the Rift Herald available for hackers still.
Right. Now, folks, if you want to have more conversations about Lucian, and I know we've had a lot about them this week, as we tend to, as it hits pro play, and some regions make it work and some don't. Watch Game 1 and watch Game 2. Game 1, Doggo couldn't jump forward like this because his team didn't have vision, they didn't have the power spikes at the right time, so they couldn't jump forward. This game, great vision into the enemy jungle. LGD know that they're not going to get jumped on in return if he jumps forward, and he's hit his item spikes at a really good time. This is how you make use of Lucian. Now you can see that Kepler, JinJiao, they're the ones which are being forced off the mid lane. They're not really participating in this game. Now, don't get me wrong, Ultra Prime will still need to translate this, but this is how you use the Lucian. You kind of get that set up first, so he knows he's not going to get third party, and you get a huge map advantage like this.
And you can just keep pressing your lead, because I think for right now, that's the biggest thing. Is the pressure has just been constantly on, and that's why there's almost a 3K lead there for Ultra Prime as well. The thing that we keep needing to come back to, though, is that LGD have a comp very similar to Ultra Primes from last game. They will start coming online. They will have a lot of pick potential before fights, so I want to keep an eye on how they position around some of these moving forward.
And also, I mean, you have an Akali who's going to be a big threat to the backline, and there's no Tahm Kench to say carries onto the team this time. Yes, the Nami can very much help. You can buy space, and you can get a little bit of disengage, but it's not going to be absolutely free. So, going into a bit more of the side lane play for now. Minute until, of course, Baron spawns. That'll be up at some point. And, of course, the Cloud Dragon. This one is the third dragon of the game in just a minute as well. But for the time being, it really is going to be a bit about this push and pull in the mid game. Doggo really needs to be a little bit careful if he's jumping forward like that and they don't have vision control, which they currently don't on the bot side of River. They need to get that vision in place first, then they can use his 3-item spike. Of course, he's got the rapid fire cannon as well, which is going to give him that extra ability to jump forward and tap someone with the Sheen block for 1,000,000 damage.
Like that. Burdol.
That's a tank, by the way.
Who's a tank?
It's a single auto attack. That wasn't even empowered with anything.
All right, who's driving? Get your driver's license
That's
out.
a good question. Is it Decade?
Decade, do it.
Show us what you can do.
Do it, Decade. No, somebody get it. Okay, well, I guess nobody wants to drive today. You got the Nature's Grasp coming out, though. Does get the nice little engage. The tower does fall. Hacker's a bit overextended here. Subjugation doing work. And here comes the tidal wave. You got Haichao on the side. Decade trying to take care of that one. Moonlight Vigil comes across. Haichao out and down. Hacker trying to get Kepler. And one shot not going to be enough. Flashing forward. And more autos. More kills. And the Doggo's eating good tonight.
Oh my gosh, plus Ultra Prime get themselves a huge fight in the mid lane. The reason they didn't go and pilot the Herald is because they knew that there was potentially going to be a counter engage coming through. By allowing the Herald to just charge by itself, they can get themselves in a better position, and they use that position well. They take the mid lane turret now, they take the Dragon, and they're going to really start rolling over to a big advantage. They're in their power spikes, and it feels like LGD, this is the right call to make. You're trying to stop the Herald getting maximum value, and you can see that Haichao actually gets a good value dive into the backline too. The problem is that you just don't have the frontline stats against the power spikes at this point in the game. So Haichao completes one part of the equation, gets the dive going, but the rest of the team is in such a full retreat because they have no frontline to stand behind that they will eventually just get ran down anyway.
So many options for Ultra Prime in this situation. See a little bit of the background there, but it's really important to note that it was great positioning from Ultra Prime. It was a great manning of the backline from Decade, and Doggo realizing Decade's got my back while I'm moving forward. And these kinds of decisions make it oh so good to see for Ultra Prime, where those have been lacking in the past in other years.
Yeah, they have, but I think their teamfight execution today has been probably their strongest point. I think that Hacker, I want to really shout him out. He's someone who I had a lot of questions about coming from last year. I think he was one of the players which had a good reputation, but it slowly started to slip away as he's had a couple of difficult years, I suppose. But with him playing the front line very, very well in that last game and in this one as well, and that last fight, getting good value out of it, this guy could be the start of something pretty big in terms of leadership for Ultra Prime this year.
And that's always been the thing about Hacker is he'll go for crazy plays, and sometimes he'll pull them off, but it's usually not with his team, and usually it ends up being a mistake. But we've started to see more consistent performances from this guy, and I think with this duo behind him, it's looking real good in that decision-making tree at least. But we do have a moment now where maybe some stalling, some sputtering, and maybe something that LGD can capitalize on. Krypton is completed as well as the Canic Worker.
So, that's going to be some tank items, importantly for Burdol, of course. I think once LGD get to a point where their front line can actually be a front line, maybe Ultra Prime have themselves a couple more issues. I just don't think that's going to happen for a while. You can see that Doggo has felt like he's doing so much damage that he doesn't need to go towards a higher damage third item. He's gone towards the Hex Drinker. Okay, I say third item, depends whether you count the Blood Song truly. But yes, he's going towards the Hex Drinker. Yeekai is also going towards the Maw of Malmortars. This is going to seriously remove some of the threat of Haichao on the other side. Now, Crypt Bloom is a great item. It gives you 30% magic pen, but that is less than something like the VODS, which also gives you more ability power as well. So, with a lot of magic resist being built up and Haichao not having full anti-magic resist potential, I'm wondering how effective he's going to be in the next fight against this now magic resisted up back.
And I was curious to see the Morellonomicon completed second for Meteor as well, just trying to get some utility out of the saplings and the AP he's doing as well. And I could appreciate that, maybe also just a quick completion of a second item too.
I mean, and also with the Leandris and the saplings, you just apply it for so long on the burn, but this is, oh, Burdol thought he could shunt him back there.
Yeah, that's not good, and now the culling forced out in there. The tidal wave also used a little bit late, so a couple of tools actually from Ultra Prime being utilized, but it just means pressure in the mid lane goes straight to them.
Yeah, I mean, Burdol needs to be really careful with how he uses that ult too. If he gets ulted by Doggo!
Stepping forward like that into no vision with all of them are there. He gets his health chunked, and now Ultra Prime maybe finding themselves in a situation that they put LGD in last game. Haichao goes way overextended though, gets out with this perfect execution defensively.
Haichao thought he could see an angle onto Doggo. What did we just say about this Lucian? You're meant to play it when you know you have vision, to know that when you dash forward, you're not getting third party. You're not going into too many different people. That wasn't it. That was into a control warded red side jungle. Almost gets completely exploded by Kepler. But just about makes it away with it. He has enough luxury stats, particularly with the Hex Drink or Magic Resist, to make sure he doesn't get shut down.
You think Jwei had a heart attack there, or what? Like,
oh, 100%. He's just like, dude, you know that one
smash that F button so hard.
You know the that gif of the person trying to stop a deer running into the pool? It is exactly that playing as a support player. Just like, dude, no, not in the pool. Please, out of there, out of danger.
And you pull them out, they jump right back in.
They jump right back in. Now the thing is, I know you are the ADC player here too. You still have to be self-aware enough to realize that this is your people doing this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's also me. I'm him. I'm Himothy.
Yeah, I am him in the worst possible way.
In the worst possible way, but catch me doing it every time I'm in bot lane.
Yeah.
Doggo though playing very aggressively. Feels like he's the front line now of Ultra Prime. And if he can get a really big pop-off shot, that does make the big difference. The thing is though, Dragon coming up, neither team really putting a big presence around there just yet, but Ultra Prime will be there first.
And they will have the package. See you guys spinning across the minimap like this. I mean, you can see Ultra Prime trying to force this mid lane prior. They could really threaten a dive here.
Meteor has a really interesting angle. Yeekai going deep for the shot, and he gets Kepler down. No space is going to save you today, not even if you have a satellite in the sky.
Yeah, that telescope's all useful for seeing things, but it's not useful for getting out of the way of the Corky flying at you.
Oh, Ultra Prime though, there we go! Haichao! He gets that picture-perfect moment, and it makes the biggest of differences. Doggo running away from what is some mad hounds of LGD.
I mean, we're talking about the damn telescope. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's Haichao flying out of the ether and gets a huge amount of value. The Akali springs to life, and in game 2, it's LGD that are getting the comeback after the early game. They're even on gold, and honestly, they could be looking at the Baron here.
It's literally last game, but backwards. It just feels so insane to have gotten to this point, but Haichao has been waiting for it. He's been wanting it. And he finally finds that angle. He almost had it just a little bit ago, but here, it's picture perfect.
Okay, so the first part of this dive looks really good for Ultra Prime. Good package. Kepler does not get to play the game. He's stuck on top of the package. This is great. Problem is, the front line takes so much damage, and there's no magic resist on Decade either, that you have a huge sitting gallery for Haichao to actually get a good ult into it. He's tried this a couple of times now. I think Ultra Prime realized that the disengage is going to be quite difficult, so they stick around. But I think they still should have tried to disengage all the same, because Haichao had such a good angle.
Yeah, I love that Meteor gets in there and gets a 900 gold shutdown. Anyways, it is Ultra Prime on the back end of that play, just getting a third dragon for themselves. It was a good attempt from LGD. They will get a side lane turret too, but it's still themselves in a position they need to keep pressing their advantage.
Man, they're in such a good position to do so. The shutdown onto Meteor, because it's an AP Maokai, means an awful lot. So Shadow Flame will start causing your magic damage and true damage to crit on people below 35% HP for an extra 20% damage. Now, he is going to have burns on people quite a lot. That's actually going to add a significant amount of damage onto the targets which are going to be first into the fight. Meteor getting that gold, I think that's a big point in this game.
It was, and also in terms of the goal difference too. I mean, they shot up like a springboard after that one, and they are full frontally in the lead, about 2k over Ultra Prime here. Doggo still always looking for those big pokes onto Kepler, but Meteor was popped in Nature's Wrath. Look at that AP damage he did there. Tidal Wave did have to come out, but Burdol was searching on the back.
Yeah, that Meteor Maokai is doing an awful lot of work right now. Did a lot of work on the brand, let's be honest. Yeah, Yeekai is also at the Corky break point. The thing is, the frontline is not particularly frontliney from the side of LGD because Meteor has gone for the higher damage stacks as well. As soon as we get the Eclipse coming through for Yeekai as well, we're going to have the same situation as last game that LGD found themselves in. You know, they're just waiting for that one big one to land, and then suddenly you don't have the HP bars to fight. I think someone like Haichao needs to be very worried about that too. If he's diving it up full HP, yes, this Akali is going to do mad damage. Doesn't have any magic resist though. He needs to be very careful to keep his HP bar topped up before the engage.
Prime seeding an outer tower in mid lane, so that'll be all outer towers successfully carved down by LGD. And we'll move away now. There must be very close to getting Haichao his Rabadon's death cap. I'm sure the reset's coming out now. We'll secure those items.
There it is. So the thing about Rabadon's death cap is, since the changes to AP come through and it gives you more AP now as a base item, it's 140 total, the item is actually gold efficient at first item. This is meant to be like a second, third item, folks. This is meant to be like something that scales up through the game, but this is insanely powerful if you can get it built up. It's very expensive, obviously, but now he has it on top of the Crypt Bloom and the Storm Surge. Haichao, if he was doing damage before, he is going to absolutely melt the backline of Ultra Prime in the next fight he gets a good angle into.
And a big problem is we haven't been able to see Doggo get damage off recently, right? He was getting a lot of damage pop shots off early, but now when everybody's getting a little bit tankier, and the second he steps up, he can get blasted, it's that much more difficult to get the setup for Ultra Prime. That's where you start seeing that momentum shift into the corner of LGD.
So part of the reason for that is the nature of Lucian with his various supports versus particularly the Aphelios Miliar. Because if you run at the Aphelios is one of the best turnaround ADCs in the game, because depending on his weapons, he can immediately fire out like an empowered auto attack with something like the Miliar auto from long range, and then follow up with both an ability and an ultimate, and he will actually match burst with Lucian, despite the fact that he has more consistent damage too. So when you're in a game like this, where actually the Aphelios is now back in parity in terms of items, they're about. The Infinity Edge is such a big item that somewhat makes up for the Blood Song on the other side. Kepler can actually hold Doggo to account, even though earlier in the game, in the power spike of Lucian, Doggo was doing incredible damage.
The moment that changed it all was that big catch out, the huge Haichao moment into the Baron, into now a big ol' LGD gold lead. So now they need to try to find a way to utilize that. Keep putting the pressure with Haichao, find those angles, and that's your ticket in here. You were talking about a little bit of the damage Kepler can provide as well. So trying to get the avenues for that is super important. We got about a minute till the dragon spawns. This will be a Cloud Soul for Ultra Prime, which I think with their composition is actually very, very strong. And about a minute and a half for the Baron.
Right, so the next package timing also going to be very important. Wow, they're really going for this.
They can't catch Haichao here. If they do, then that's a big difference. The rocket, not enough. The burn! The burn! It's not going to do it! Oh, man.
That is so painfully close, even with the first strike ticking. Getting the extra amount of damage alongside the burn too. It wasn't quite enough. Haichao burning flash and ult. I mean, the ult is a fairly low cooldown, all things said and done, but it's still gone for the here and now. It gives some extra time for Ultra Prime to press up this top lane, push into the enemy jungle, and get some vision back. That's one of the big things they lost with the huge last phase of play. This could be a big moment for Ultra Prime.
Using those grubbies actually really well here, getting side lane pressure, and Haichao already almost dead yet again. He just came back. Ultra Prime getting a tier 2 tower here for sure, as they actually are a little bit scared because they can't see anybody else on the map, but they were perfectly fine.
I think Haichao just got his ult back up too, so they were timing that ultimate thinking, hang on, this might be a bit much at that point, but this is exactly what I wanted from Yeekai. Now, the thing is, the Akali does a lot of damage, but takes a lot of damage at the same rate. Ultra Prime gave up a Cloud Dragon for this attempt, but I think this is pretty on the money for what I want from them. Because if you try to play towards bot side, you give a vision towards the Baron, which is spawning just now. LGD, they don't have the wards just yet. Now, because Ultra Prime got that top lane in a turret and managed to stick around top side to get some vision, they don't have to get caught off guard for a Baron.
And the next parts of this are going to be absolutely setting up vision control around this Baron, and I guess starting it up for Ultra Prime.
Yeah, we'll see if they can get to what. I mean, they have a very tanky jungler. He can very much help them do that. You can see those particle effects in the fog of war from our spectator, at least. LGD
takes a long time.
How much value can Yeekai get, and can Haichao get himself a good angle?
I think this is a huge angle from LGD. Baron goes down, but it's a little bit chaos after. Oh, Doggo dashes, and he's immediately pounced on by Haichao. There's no way he was surviving that.
Haichao!
Meanwhile, Haichao's just getting taken out there in the end by the combo of Ultra Prime. Burdol has found Hacker in the end, and it's looking like LGD walk away with this one and a continued lead, TPing into the mid lane.
I think with the death timers, this is at least going to be an inhibitor. I don't know if it's game just yet, but oh my gosh, we asked Haichao to get the angle, and he found it. Calculated, slammed that one into Ultra Prime. Poor Doggo just could not fight. It's his first death of the game, but it might be the only one that matters.
There's just nothing he can do against this composition. That's sometimes where the Lucian can fall off. They just have built so well around it, and LGD knocking on the doors here with Jwei, the only one to answer.
We're going to get the inhibitor, but that will be it. Inhib and out. The Baron was taken by Ultra Prime, and they have one left on Jwei, so he can buff up the minions and make sure that that ending push is not available to LGD. So we have a bit of a mirror from the last game, where Ultra Prime were the ones to come back in game one. They're the ones now falling under the late game resurgence of their opponents. Yeekai gets a package out of the CC and manages to create this flaming barrier, but Doggo just can't get himself into a good enough position. That dash to the side there is absolutely awful from Doggo. He dashes into the ult range of Haichao, and despite the fact that he was 3-0 before that point, that is not what you want to do. That Akali eats you for breakfast.
Yeah, every single time. That Storm Surge is literally there to destroy Doggo. And if you walk right into him, it's just giving him a mouthful of food. We do see the damage there, a lot of ranged poke damage. Actually surprised Decade, he was like in a 1v3, able to do a decent amount, but it matters where that damage is done, and a lot of that from Haichao straight onto Doggo.
I mean, Yeekai had a really good start to that fight. He got a really good rocket onto Meteor as well. And again, one of the things about AP Markai, you don't exactly get yourself a lot of resist yourself. So, now this becomes a bit of a moment where Ultra Prime, again, need to find an area of control on the map, stop Haichao getting big value out of side lane. He's running straight onto him right now, actually.
Yeah, I don't think he knew that they were all here. Tidal Wave, everything used. Haichao gonna go golden. They're a little bit worried, though. The rest of LGD are right here, ready to go. It's gonna be the Nature's Grasp, dodge out. Oh. Takes a little chunk of damage there. Try to dodge out of it there, but Ultra Prime were not able to find Haichao, and that's multiple times we've seen that happen.
I mean, they do get the stopwatch, or the stopwatch equivalent, I guess, away from Haichao in that Seeker's Arm Guard. That's now been broken, and we sat in inventory. I think this is the right play to make, though. If you shut down Haichao, remove his abilities to push up in side lane, it gives you ability to sit in an area of the map, get that vision, and hopefully then after that pick, failed or successful though it may be, you can still get the vision after that point, which can bring Yeekai back online with his rockets.
We are at full items for Yeekai now, all built up, all ready to go, but it's where those rockets land that's really the biggest teller if Ultra Prime can pull back this advantage. Just about over 1,000 gold here for LGD, and we got another round of the Fisticuffs coming up. 50 seconds for another dragon. So, that would be Soul for Ultra Prime, Soul Point for LGD. I don't think there's any reason why LGD could give this one up, but even if they did, I don't think Cloud Soul is going to be the be-all and end-all this game. Of course, it's nasty on Corki because he can proc the Cloud Soul so consistently. I think he's got a 30-second cooldown, so it's not on every rocket that he casts. But still, it'd be nice for Ultra Prime to get that one on. It makes sense, right? Just try and kill him off while he's isolated. He's so strong that he wants to take 1v1s. If you never give him a 1v1, maybe he gets a bit bold and tries to attempt it anyway. They just can't catch him. He's too mobile. He's the Akali. He also now has the Zanyas, so maybe the Seeker's Arm got broken. It got upgraded as he came back.
That's a very good point, actually. And it gives a lot more stats now. So it doesn't give you cooldown reduction, but it gives you 120 AP. Now, that's getting amped through the death caps, that bonus AP as well. This Akali is going to one-shot if you hit an E. If you ever get hit by an E, that's it, lights out. So Haichao, really, really the person to watch from LGD if they can get onto the choice targets.
And right now, it's not those burst moments from Ultra Prime. Yeekai, he found him 4 times the charm. No, sir. Walk away easy as that from Haichao.
Okay, the thing is, you actually have quite a lot of cooldown reduction for this build of Akali, so your ultimate at rank 3 is not going to be that high. The thing is, if you walk behind the Akali, they just ult over you. That's exactly what's happened the last 3 times that they've tried to go for this.
Gone.
Yeah, so you're stopping Haichao being able to join a big fight if LGD peeled off of the dragon and came towards you in that mid lane. But realistically, what are Ultra Prime doing? You have full items on your Corki. You're not waiting to scale up there. You're looking to try and, again, get an area control, get a wave pushed in, and you still have to be able to start a fight somewhere, folks.
That's really hard to do at this point. We did see the boots sold from Doggo. No boots
Again.
for this doggy today. And it will be a continuation of the build in trying to get to that Lord Doms, which absolutely is needed right now and probably a little bit earlier.
You can see Decade getting up to a few items, even at 0 and 4 on the Aatrox, fairly strong core of items. So Cyrilda's scales up through the game with the amount of lethality you have now. It gives you more percent penetration depending on that. It stops AD carries going, basically. You see that Yeekai recalling. I don't think LGD know that the recall has come through. I'd imagine it is the package timing, which will be in time for the Baron. Okay, alright, game on. Package. This could be the moment that decides the game.
So the package setup is huge. We've also seen it completely toss games before. Doggo is really far up right there. Needs to dodge out of this one. A lot of damage put in from Meteor. Hacker gonna dash out of that one. Big Moonlight Vigil from Kepler. And he gets the damage that's done, and the Baron is now on the table for LGD.
Well, that's absolutely
Haichao.
Baron for free. The flash away from Hacker means everyone else gets hit by the Fellow Assault. I don't think Haichao has the information to see the recalls completely, but if Doggo is alone here, Haichao is absolutely going to murder him.
Yeekai has the package available now. Yeekai needs to be a little careful.
Okay, wait, hang on. Akali's in mid lane. They see Akali's in mid lane. They're going to go for an engage.
He's trying to take down Jwei. He killed Jwei. Jwei's just gone. Package is there for Yeekai. He'll use it back towards his team, but LGD are hunting. LGD are hungry, and LGD want to tie up this series. They're hunting down Ultra Prime, but they can't get the Shuriken flip. Doggo puts in some damage on Haichao. Now LGD forced to back away. Yeekai is doing some work, as you might as well call him the Ballistics General, because he's hitting the rockets.
Kepler!
As the Cullen goes down, he's already gotten the front line, and Decade's out.
Oh, the Aphelios is online as well. I really think Ultra Prime could have looked for a 4v4 without Haichao in the equation, but they kind of spin their wheels yet
Doggo
again.
doesn't have boots. He doesn't have boots. He has no way out of this one. Burdol's just going to run him down.
And I think that even if he got back to the base, it would have been a hard ass to defend this one. Yeekai has G8. Is that going to be enough? I don't know.
Would we have asked for anything different in this one? Chaos was the king when we came into it. We know both these teams have a little bit of trouble in the end, and it does mean we get to go all 3 games for the first time of the day. LGD tied up 1-1.
These two teams, you had a rocky 2023 looking to take an important victory against each other to start their 2024 season off strong, 1-1. Very similar games back to back. They've had strong early games apiece, but then fell apart.